If you're over 60, this may be the most important conversation you hear all week. Imagine lying in bed feeling completely drained, yet your mind refuses to slow down. Your legs keep shifting, your back feels stiff, and you find yourself staring at the ceiling in the middle of the night, wondering why sleep won't come. Many people assume this is simply part of aging, something unavoidable. But the truth is often very different. Recent findings from sleep research show that a large number of older adults are not struggling because of age itself, but because their nervous system remains tense and overstimulated long after the day has ended. What's even more surprising is that those who sleep best tend to follow simple, consistent routines that gently release this built-up tension. At Longevix Hub, we'll guide you through natural methods to help your body rediscover deep, restorative sleep. You're about to discover something most people never hear about sleep after 60, even after years of struggling with restless nights. Many assume that difficulty sleeping is simply part of getting older, something the body naturally loses over time. But what research has uncovered tells a very different story. A major study published in 2022 revealed that the majority of older adults who report poor sleep are not actually dealing with true insomnia. Instead, their bodies are carrying unresolved tension that builds up throughout the day and remains stored in the nervous system. This tension quietly interferes with the body's ability to relax when it matters most. What surprised researchers even more was that those who consistently enjoyed deep, restful sleep shared a common habit. They practiced a few gentle, intentional movements before bed that helped release this hidden tension and prepare the body for true rest. What truly caught the attention of researchers was not just the cause of poor sleep, but the solution that quietly emerged from their findings. Among older adults who reported consistently deep and refreshing sleep, there was a clear pattern that stood out. These individuals were not relying on medication, expensive devices, or complicated routines. Instead, they practiced a small set of gentle, intentional movements before going to bed, movements that most traditional sleep advice rarely mentions. This approach was taken even further in a clinical setting, led by experts featured on Longevix Hub, where over 1,000 seniors were guided through a simple nightly routine. The results were remarkable. In just 2 weeks, a large majority began falling asleep more quickly and waking up with noticeably less stiffness and discomfort. It became clear that by calming the body and releasing tension, the natural rhythm of sleep could be restored without force or struggle. In today's conversation on Longevix Hub, you're going to be guided step by step through a simple, natural way to help your body return to deep, restorative sleep. There's nothing complicated here, no special equipment, and no need for difficult positions. Everything you'll learn is designed to be gentle, practical, and easy to follow right at home. These movements are not just about improving flexibility or easing stiffness. They go much deeper than that. What you're really doing is helping your body shift from a state of tension into a state of calm. The difference between falling asleep peacefully early in the night and lying awake for hours often comes down to how relaxed your nervous system feels. For many people, sleep represents more than rest. It represents peace, healing, and the ability to feel safe and comfortable within your own body again. One thing that becomes very clear, especially when you've worked with many older adults through Longevix Hub, is that most people are not truly dealing with insomnia in the way they think. What they are experiencing is something much quieter, but just as powerful. Their bodies are holding on to layers of tension that never fully get released. Over time, this builds up and keeps the system in a constant state of alertness, even when it's time to rest. Instead of being physically exhausted in a healthy way, the body becomes tightly wound, almost like it's waiting for something to happen. This makes it difficult to switch off at night. But the encouraging part is that change can happen quickly. Many people begin to feel a noticeable difference from the very first night they follow a simple, calming routine designed to guide the body back into a relaxed state. Now that we understand what's really happening beneath the surface, the next step is to look at how this simple routine will unfold. On Longevix Hub, you'll be guided through a sequence that is both structured and easy to follow, designed specifically to help the body transition into a restful state without effort or strain. It begins in a seated position, allowing you to gently reconnect with your breath and posture before introducing any movement. From there, the routine gradually shifts into a few calming movements you can do right in bed, helping your nervous system slow down naturally. Each step builds on the one before it, creating a smooth progression from wakefulness to relaxation. By the end, you'll learn a final resting position that helps lower stress hormones and signals clearly to your brain that it's time to sleep, making the entire process feel natural and unforced. To help you understand how powerful this approach can be, let's look at a real example shared on Longevix Hub. There was an 82-year-old woman who had struggled with poor sleep for many years. She often described her nights as long and frustrating, waking up multiple times and never feeling truly rested in the morning. She believed her body had simply lost the ability to sleep deeply. But after being guided through a simple pre-bed routine focused on calming the nervous system, something began to change. Within just 10 nights, her sleep improved in a way she hadn't experienced in over a decade. She started falling asleep more easily and staying asleep for longer periods, sometimes reaching 6 to 7 hours of uninterrupted rest. There were no medications involved, no devices, just consistent, gentle practice that allowed her body to finally relax again. At this point, a deeper question naturally comes up, and it's one that many people quietly wonder about. Why does sleep seem to become more difficult as we grow older? On Longevix Hub, this is explained in a way that shifts how we think about the problem entirely. It doesn't begin with insomnia itself, but with subtle changes in how the nervous system responds over time. As the years pass, the part of the nervous system responsible for helping the body relax and wind down can become less responsive. Not because something is broken, but because the body gradually adapts to constant stimulation and tension. It begins to treat that state of alertness as normal. This makes it harder to enter a calm, restful state at night. True rest, however, is not automatic. It is a skill the body can relearn through breath, posture, and gentle movement. So what this really means is that sleep is not just something that happens automatically the moment you lie down. It is something your body needs to be guided into, especially as you get older. On Longevix Hub, this idea is explained in a very simple way. Your breath and your body act like control switches for your brain. When they are tense, your mind stays active. When they are calm, your mind begins to settle. This is why simply telling yourself to relax rarely works. The body needs clear, physical signals that it is safe to let go. Gentle breathing, relaxed posture, and slow movement all work together to send that message. Over time, your system begins to respond again. You are not forcing sleep to happen. You're teaching your body how to enter a state where sleep can come naturally and effortlessly. Before we move into any physical movement, everything begins with the breath. On Longevix Hub, this is always the first and most important step, because true sleep does not start in the muscles, it starts in the nervous system. One of the simplest and most effective ways to calm that system is through a technique known as box breathing. It's a method used in many high-stress environments to quickly quiet the mind and bring the body back into balance. The process is gentle and easy to follow. You inhale slowly for 4 seconds, hold the breath for 4 seconds, then exhale for 4 seconds, and pause again for 4 seconds before repeating. After just a few cycles, the body begins to respond. Your heart rate slows, your thoughts become quieter, and a sense of calm starts to take over naturally.